Hey everyone, welcome to Marketing for Designers podcast. I'm your host, Masha Coyne, a messaging strategist and a copywriter for the interior design industry. I've been marketing for what feels like forever in my past career at some of the biggest global firms like KPMG and Deloitte. Today, I write website copy for designers using my signature voice of customer framework. If you're a designer looking to up your marketing game and attract premium clients, this podcast is for you. Each week on the show, we're going to be talking all things marketing, from branding to messaging to social media, SEO, and so much more, so you can have all the tools you need to grow your business and attract your dream clients. Welcome back to another episode of Marketing for Designers podcast, and I'm your host, Masha Coyne. So today I wanted to talk to you about a topic that's close to my heart. It's client interviews and using the audience data that you collect from client interviews on your website. And I'll also share why every website copywriting project that I do begins with understanding your audience and how these insights can transform generic copy into a powerful conversation. Because that's what you want at the end of the day. You want your website to resonate with the right clients. And client interviews in my process help you achieve that. So let's start with this. Why audience insights matter. When it comes to website copy, one size does not fit all. Each client, and I'm referring to your clients, your interior design clients, the homeowners that hired you, each client has unique challenges, desires, and aspirations, which means your website copy needs to be tailored to speak directly to their experience. And by understanding your audience's pain points, desires, specific language, you transform your website copy from just a story about your brand, about your process, about what inspires you. It transforms it into a meaningful dialogue that resonates with those ideal clients that you want to attract. So in my experience writing website copy for my clients, some of my clients come to me and say, well, I love this website, and they reference like a competitor's website or just another designer that they admire, and they send me their copy, their website URL as inspiration, saying that I love how this designer talks about this or that. Can we do something similar? But here's the thing. That designer, whoever they referenced, has their own audience. And their audience may be very different from yours. They can have different challenges, different things that they want, or they pay attention to different aspects of a designer's process. So it's so important to spend some time understanding what your particular audience needs and wants, and how they're motivated, and how do they make decisions. All of these insights are unique to you. So first, let's talk about pain points. Every client comes to you with specific challenges that they're facing. Maybe they are completely overwhelmed when it comes to managing a big renovation project. Or maybe they want the fabulous aesthetic that you as a designer are known for. So that's your aesthetic, or the style is what brought them to you, not so much a specific challenge that they're facing. Or maybe they want more space because they want, their current home is not laid out in the way that they want to, or it doesn't function that their family needs. It doesn't satisfy their family's needs. Or maybe they want access to resources and products that are available to designers only. So whatever the challenge or the pain point that they have, it's unique to your specific clients. So by identifying these pain points through client interviews, you can address their pain, like their problems and challenges, directly in your copy. And this shows potential clients that you get them. You understand their struggles, and you have the solution for them, for their specific problems. So then once we have a clear idea of what the pain points are, then we'll look at desires and aspirations. So beyond solving problems, your clients have aspirations and goals and wants they need or they hope to achieve by hiring you as their interior designer. And by tapping into these desires, your website copy, can inspire and motivate them to take action, making your services not just a solution, but the thing to get them to their dreams, to what they want. So some examples of desires or aspirations, and these came from real interviews that I've done for my previous clients. So some things like when clients say, "I just want my home to look cohesive and put together." These are the real words that people have actually used in client interviews because that's what they really want for their home to feel like. Or they say things like, "I want my home to feel welcoming and warm." Or they say, "I want a professional to get me out of my comfort zone," because a designer can do that. They can push you out of your comfort zone. Or they say things like, "I want a comfortable and sophisticated home, but still kid friendly." So when you know what your clients are after, you can weave these insights into your website messaging. So when website visitors land on your website, the copy actually speaks to them. And the reaction that you're after is you want to kind of get them nodding their head and saying to themselves, "Yes, that's exactly what I want. That's what I'm going for." You want that reaction when they're reading the website copy on your website. So now we've got pain points. We've got an idea of their desires and aspirations. Next, let's talk about why collecting audience insights is important. Because it can capture your audience's language in its most authentic form. So the reason why we do client interviews is not just to collect their pain points and aspirations, but also really understand how do people, how are your clients talking, what kind of language they're using, because people connect with language that feels familiar and authentic to them. And through client interviews, you can capture the exact phrases, the exact language and terms that your audience uses, so that when you use those words in copy, it feels personal and relatable. And in return, that builds trust and rapport with your audience. So things to pay attention to is, how do they refer to their home through their everyday language? Do they say things like, "I'm looking for comfort," or "I wanted a welcoming atmosphere"? Or do they say like more aspirational terms like dream home, sanctuary, and things like that? It's the little nuances, but they're so important. And last but not least, but the reason that audience insights are so important is because they help create an emotional connection. These insights that I collect through interviews, the stories, the anecdotes, the messages, when we weave them into your website copy, they help evoke an emotion, a feeling, some type of emotional reaction. An emotionally charged copy is more likely to resonate with readers, making your website more memorable and more engaging. And one example that comes to mind is the recent website project that I was working on for Live Interiors, an interior design firm in Toronto. We actually have a podcast episode scheduled, so you'll hear from her directly. But the main headline that I developed for that project came directly for one of the things that the client of that designer said in one of the interviews. The main headline reads, "Experience pinch me moments every time you come home." And the way it happened was that one of the clients of that designer said, "I just keep saying to myself, pinch me. I can't believe this is my house." So that's the exact emotion that we were going for. When you look around in your beautifully designed home and you need to keep reminding myself, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is my house." So that just tells me how powerful audience insights are when we can actually use those stories, use those insights that we collected in interviews, and then weave them into copy, making it kind of this emotionally charged copy, or copy that makes you feel something. So now let's switch gears. Let's talk briefly about client interviews, as in, because client interviews is the star of the show in my process. I have this signature process called Reveal, and the acronyms of that stand for, so R stands for research and discovery, E stands for extracting key messaging, V stands for voice of customer. These are the actual client interviews. And I mean, you can gather this data with surveys and other ways, but I specifically use client interviews because I feel that they're the most impactful. Then E stands for evaluating competition, which is really a competitive analysis. A stands for architecture of content, and L stands for language and launch, which is the actual website copy. So that's Reveal in a nutshell. So for every website copywriting project, I conduct in-depth client interviews. I don't really call them client interviews with clients. I really call them client chats with clients so they don't come across as too official. And there really are very kind of informal chats where clients share their experience of what it was like to work with you and what kind of pain points they experienced, what brought them to you in the first place. And what I do is the way I run these is I simply nudge them with prompts and questions to make it easier to kind of have the conversation going, to get the conversation going. So, but this step, the client interviews, is a non-negotiable in my process because it gives me raw, unfiltered data needed to write copy that really connects. So by asking the right questions, I get to those emotions and challenges and motivations that drive your clients. So I'm going to share just a few categories in my questions. So you'll get an idea of what those client interviews are like. So there are a few categories. The first category is pain points, which we already established. So that's where I identify the challenges, the frustrations that clients face right before they decided to hire you as their interior designer. The next category is client affinity. So I'm trying to understand what attracted your clients to your services in the first place and what they appreciated about working with you. And these are some of the things that they share with you. Well, I just kind of vibed with her. So these are the insights that I'm looking for in that category. The next category is goals and wants. That's where I'm trying to discover what clients hope to achieve and the deeper significance behind these goals. Because it always goes a little bit deeper than that. Well, I just wanted a beautiful home. Usually there's deeper reasons that are the ones that are more important to them in the first place. So they can, spend time with their family and have the perfect place where everybody kind of belongs and everything has its own place. So then the next category is hesitations. So that's where we uncover concerns and hesitations clients had about hiring a professional like an interior designer. The next category is competitors. So I'm learning why clients chose you over, your other local competitors and what made your approach unique or maybe, what was the selling point? Why did they choose to hire you as opposed to somebody else? The next category is wins and future pacing. So highlighting the positive outcomes and transformations your clients experienced in the process of working with you. Then I'm also talking about benefits. So here I'm learning to identify the key benefits of working with you from your client's perspective. So you may want to highlight your own benefits of, here are the 3 benefits of hiring my interior design firm. But chances are your clients from their own perspective have their own benefits. And client interviews help me uncover those benefits. And the last one is offer optimization. So I'm just trying to gather insights on how you can improve your services to better meet your client needs. So these are the categories in my client interviews. But the next step in gathering this data and actually using it is actually utilizing it in copy. So once we've gathered these audience insights, I then analyze the data and I extract key messages that will resonate most with your audience. And I'm looking for patterns, I'm looking for overlaps, because oftentimes if I interview, 5 of your clients, certain things will keep popping up. And this is exactly what I'm looking for things to be repeated, for the patterns, for, chances are if 5 of your clients have this, positive experience working with you, chances are 3 out of 5 will have something similar to say. Obviously, there are differences, but chances are there will be patterns that we can uncover. So this data-driven approach ensures that every word on your website speaks directly to your client needs, desires, and emotions, and that creates a powerful connection. So as I said, this was a short one, and I hope this helps you understand a bit more about the importance of why we gather audience insights. how we then analyze this data and then use it across your website copy. Um, and yeah, I really hope you like this short episode. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'd love it if you loved this episode. I'd love it if you left me a review, and of course, subscribe to the show so you don't miss another episode. Thanks so much. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Marketing for Designers. This is Masha Cohen signing off. See you next week.